Have you ever pulled that one dress out of your closet? The good one. The one in the color that makes your skin look like it was lit from the inside, held it up against yourself in the mirror, turned to the side, looked at your arms, and hung it right back up without ever trying it on? If you just felt that land somewhere in your chest, I already know the answer. Yes, you have. Maybe more times than you'd ever admit out loud. And if I'm being honest with you, so have I, and so has nearly every queen I've ever styled, sat with, or talked to in the comments of this very channel. Here's the truth nobody hands you at 60, so I'm going to hand it to you myself, right now in the first minute of this video. That dress was never the problem. Your arms were never the problem. The way you were taught to wear it, that was the problem. And today, we're fixing that, one trick at a time. For years, most of us were handed an invisible rule book we never agreed to. Cover the arms, cover the shoulders, dress a little smaller, a little quieter, a little more forgettable with every passing decade. Nobody wrote this rule book down for us to read and argue with. It just arrived, quietly, through magazines that stopped featuring us past a certain age, through salespeople who steered us toward the age-appropriate rack, through relatives who meant well but said the wrong thing at the wrong moment, and it stuck with us for 20 years. So the sleeveless dresses get pushed further and further to the back of the closet, and the same 3 cardigans come out again and again. Not because they're your favorite pieces, not because they make your heart race the way that dress does, but because they feel safe. Because safe doesn't invite comment, safe doesn't invite eyes. And somewhere along the way, we confused safe with beautiful, when the truth is they were never the same thing at all. I want you to think about how many events you've attended in the last 5 years where you had the exact dress hanging in your closet, ready, gorgeous, perfect, and you wore the backup instead, the safe blouse, the long sleeve throw-on. How many photographs exist of you looking a little smaller than you actually feel inside because of one sleeve length? That ends today, because there is nothing about your arms, nothing about your age, and nothing about the richness of your skin that needs hiding, disguising, or apologizing for. What you actually need isn't more coverage. What you need is technique. And technique, unlike genetics or time, is something I can hand you in the next 15 minutes. Welcome to Golden Melanin Queen, the channel built specifically for Black women over 60 who are done shrinking, done apologizing for the space they take up, and done letting an outdated, unwritten rule book decide what stays folded in the back of the closet. If this is your first time here, I want you to get comfortable, because this is going to be your new home for honest, practical style advice made for exactly your skin, exactly your body, and exactly this decade of your life. We talk style here, we talk confidence, and most importantly, we talk truth. Every single week, no exceptions. Today, I am giving you 5 genius styling tricks that let you wear that sleeveless dress exactly the way you originally pictured it in your head the day you bought it. No oversized cardigan required, no apology necessary, no more hanging it back up in defeat. And I want you to stay with me all the way to the very end, because trick number 1, the very last one on this list, is the single thing every stylist I have ever worked with wishes every woman knew before she turned 60. It changes everything that comes before it. So don't leave early. Trust me on this one. Before we get into the details, if you are a golden melanin queen who is finally ready to stop dressing for invisibility and start dressing for herself, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button right now, this very second, before you forget. It costs you nothing, it takes 2 seconds, and it means you will never miss what's coming out of this channel next. Okay, let's get into it. Here is something almost no style channel bothers to explain properly, and once you understand it, you'll never look at a sleeveless dress the same way again. The reason a dress can feel exposing after 60 usually has almost nothing to do with your arms themselves. It has everything to do with proportion, construction, and how deliberately or carelessly a garment was designed. Most sleeveless dresses on the market were originally cut with a 25-year-old frame in mind. Thin, delicate straps, zero structure at the shoulder seam, no thought given to how a mature body carries weight and shape differently, and absolutely no thought given to how rich melanin skin catches, holds, and reflects light in ways that paler skin simply does not. When a dress ignores all of that, of course it feels wrong on your body. It was never built with your body in mind in the first place. But here's the good news, and this is the part that changes everything. Once you understand how proportion, structure, and color actually work together, you stop asking the wrong question. You start asking the right one. How do I style this on purpose? That single shift in the question you're asking is the difference between a woman who avoids the dress and a woman who commands the room in it. I've watched this transformation happen in real time with women I've styled. The dress doesn't change, the technique does. And once the technique changes, so does everything else. How she stands in it, how she moves in it, how she feels walking through the door in it. So let's get into the 5 tricks, counting all the way down because the very best one is waiting for you at number 1. Trick number 5, the structured strap rule. We start here before you even think about layering a single thing on top, because this is the foundation everything else is built on. Most sleeveless dresses are constructed with thin, delicate spaghetti straps, and on a mature frame specifically, a thin strap does something sneaky that most women never consciously notice, even though they feel the effect of it every time they put the dress on. Here's the mechanism. When a very thin, narrow strap sits directly against the natural width of your shoulder, it creates a visual contrast, and that contrast, by comparison, makes the shoulder itself read as wider and softer than it actually is. Your eye doesn't measure the shoulder in isolation, it measures the shoulder against the strap sitting right next to it. A thin strap next to a fuller shoulder reads as imbalance. That is not your body failing you in any way. That is simply bad dress engineering, full stop. I remember styling a woman for her granddaughter's graduation a few years back. A stunning emerald dress, absolutely the right dress for her, but the straps were so thin they practically disappeared into her shoulder. She kept tugging at them all through the fitting, visibly uncomfortable, convinced the dress itself was somehow wrong for her. We didn't change the dress, we changed the straps. A simple alteration to widen them to just over 2 fingers, and by the time she stood in front of the mirror again, she stood up straighter without anyone telling her to. That's what the right strap does. It doesn't just change how a dress looks, it changes how you carry yourself inside it. So here is the fix, and I want you to actually remember this number. Look for a strap that measures at least 2 fingers wide, ideally something with a bit of structure or a slight built-in shoulder seam rather than a flimsy, unsupported string. A wider strap does 3 things simultaneously. It creates a clean, confident visual line straight across the shoulder. It gives your bust genuine support instead of relying on you to constantly adjust and readjust throughout the evening. And it reads to everyone around you as intentional, tailored, and deliberate, rather than accidental or thrown together. This one swap, before you've added a single accessory, before you've thought about color or layering or anything else on this list, changes how the entire dress sits on your body from the very first moment you put it on. Try this one first if your closet is full of dresses you genuinely love the color and cut of, but you avoid wearing them because something about the fit just feels slightly off, and you've never quite been able to name what that something is. Now you can name it. It's the strap. Trick number 4, the jewel tone advantage. Now let's talk about color, because this is where melanin skin holds a genuine, real, well-documented advantage that so many of us have never been taught to use fully, and it is honestly one of the most underrated tools in your entire closet. Deep, richly saturated jewel tones, think emerald green, sapphire blue, garnet red, deep amethyst purple, burnt copper and orange, create striking high-contrast visual interaction against rich melanin skin. And here's why that matters more than you might think. The human eye is scientifically drawn first and fastest to areas of high visual contrast. It's simply how vision works. When you wear a sleeveless dress in one of these deeply saturated jewel tones, the color itself becomes the headline of the entire outfit before anyone even registers anything else about you. Think about the last time you walked into a room wearing something in a truly rich, saturated color. People don't say nice outfit in a passing way. They stop mid-sentence. They ask where you got it. They compliment the color specifically by name, unprompted. That's not a coincidence, and it's not luck. That's your skin and that color having a conversation the eye simply cannot look away from. Nobody in that room is studying your arms when your dress is doing that much work. They're too busy asking where you found it. On the flip side, I want to gently flag something because I've seen this trip up so many women over the years. Pastels, washed-out neutrals, and overly muted tones tend to flatten against deeper melanin skin rather than complement it. There's simply not enough contrast happening for the eye to be drawn anywhere specific, which means, ironically, the eye ends up wandering, often landing exactly on the areas you were hoping to draw attention away from. It's not that those lighter shades are wrong for you forever, it's that they require a lot more supporting technique to work, as hard as a single jewel tone works on its own. So here's my advice the next time you're shopping, whether that's in a boutique or scrolling online at midnight the way we all do. Walk straight past the beige rack. Walk past the muted blush and the washed lavender, if those aren't already speaking to you. Go directly for the jewel tones, the emerald, the sapphire, the deep wine, the copper. Let your skin do exactly what it was born to do, which is command a room without a single word being spoken. Try this one if you already own a dress in a bold, saturated color and you've been second-guessing whether it's too much. It's not too much. It's exactly enough. Trick number 3, the draped shawl frame. This is the trick that transforms a sleeveless dress from a compromise into an entire intentional look, and it is genuinely one of my favorite techniques to teach because the transformation happens almost instantly. Take a large, high-quality shawl or wrap, a flowing silk, a soft chiffon, or if you want the whole outfit to speak your heritage as loudly as it speaks your style, a bold African print fabric in a pattern that means something to you. Drape it diagonally across one shoulder, let the opposite end fall gracefully across your body toward the other hip, and either secure it loosely with a knot at the hip or pin it in place with a beautiful statement brooch. Let it move, let it breathe. Don't pin it down so tightly that it loses its natural drape. Here's exactly why this beats reaching for a cardigan every single time. A cardigan closes across your body from top to bottom. It creates a boxy, covering, somewhat shapeless silhouette, and worse, it visually cuts your body into segments, a horizontal line right across the middle that does nothing to elongate or flatter. A draped shawl does the complete opposite. It moves with you. It creates diagonal lines instead of horizontal ones, and diagonal lines are, without exception, more dynamic, more slimming, and more elegant to the eye than anything straight across. Most importantly, it frames your arms rather than smothering them. I want you to really sit with the difference between those two words because it matters more than almost anything else in this entire video. Framing and hiding. Framing says, I chose this on purpose because it makes me look incredible. Hiding says, I am uncomfortable and I am trying to disappear. A cardigan worn out of habit and worn tight often says the second thing, even if that was never your intention. A shawl draped with a little intention and a little movement says the first thing loudly every single time. You get to choose which one you're saying with your body today, and I am telling you right now, choose framing. Try this one if you want real drama and real movement in your look without adding bulk, without adding heat on a warm evening, and without losing a single ounce of elegance of the dress underneath. Okay, if any of these 3 tricks are already changing how you're picturing that dress hanging in your closet right now, do me a quick favor and tap that like button before we keep going. It genuinely tells me exactly what kind of content to keep bringing to Golden Melanin Queen, and it helps more of us, more queens just like you, find their way to this channel. All right, let's keep going, because the next 2 are where things get really good. Trick number 2. The cropped jacket illusion. Here is the trick that gives you full, complete coverage without ever once looking like you're covering something up, and that distinction is the entire point. Find a cropped, unstructured jacket or blazer, a soft linen for a daytime event, something a little sleeker and more fluid for evening that hits right at your natural waistline in a color that contrasts confidently against your dress rather than matching it. Picture a crisp white jacket over a deep wine-colored dress. Picture a warm camel jacket layered over an emerald green gown. Picture a blush pink jacket against a rich olive dress. The contrast is what makes this work, and I mean that literally. It's the visual mechanism doing the heavy lifting. A well-chosen cropped jacket accomplishes 3 things at once, and it does them simultaneously, which is exactly why this trick is so efficient. First, it adds real structure across your shoulders, giving the whole silhouette a sense of intention and polish. Second, it defines your waistline precisely because it ends right at its narrowest point, which is exactly where you want a visual break to happen. And third, it gives your arms complete, full coverage through the sleeve, while still allowing the rest of the dress, the color, the shape, the flow, to move freely and be fully visible below the hem of the jacket. The contrast in color is the detail that separates a woman who looks accidentally covered up from a woman who looks deliberately, expensively styled. When the 2 contrast rather than blend, it signals to everyone around you that this was a decision, a pairing, a choice, not a last-minute cover-up reached for out of discomfort. That single visual cue changes how the entire outfit reads from across the room. And here is my favorite part of this particular trick, the part that makes it more versatile than almost anything else on this list. You get options throughout the entire event. Arrive with the jacket on, fully covered, structured, and polished for that first entrance, and then an hour in, once you're warmed up, once you've had a glass of something lovely, once you're feeling exactly as radiant as you actually are, take the jacket off, reveal the full dress, let the room see the whole look. You get 2 entrances in one outfit, and both of them are entirely, unapologetically yours to control. Try this one if you like having the option to fully cover your arms for part of an event and then reveal the entire look later entirely on your own terms and your own timing. All right, trick number 1, the radiant skin ritual. And here we are, the one I promised you at the very beginning of this video. The trick that once you understand it actually changes how every single other trick on this list lands on your body. Before you put on the dress, before the shawl, before the jacket, take 2 full minutes just for your skin. A lightweight body oil with a fine, subtle shimmer, and I want to be very specific here because this detail matters enormously. A soft, diffused shimmer, never chunky glitter, never anything that reads as costume rather than skin. Apply it along your collarbones, across the tops of your shoulders, and along the outer curve of your upper arms. Just those areas. You don't need to coat yourself in it. A little goes an extraordinarily long way. Here is what that small amount of shimmer actually does, mechanically, physically, in real light. It catches whatever light is in the room, candlelight, string lights, the overhead lighting at a wedding reception, even the warm glow of golden hour if you're outdoors, and it reflects that light back off your skin in a way that reads as luminous, hydrated, and deliberately, intentionally alive. It does not look like glitter sitting on top of your skin. It looks like the glow is coming from somewhere underneath the skin itself, which is exactly the effect you want. Pair this with genuinely consistent moisturizing in the days leading up to your event, not just the morning of, but really in the week before, so your skin has time to actually absorb and hold that hydration. And something remarkable happens. Your arms stop being the thing you are quietly managing, adjusting, angling away from cameras, tugging sleeves over. They become the thing people notice first and compliment specifically. I have watched this shift happen on women's faces in real time, the moment they catch their own reflection under the right light and realize, almost with surprise, that their arms look genuinely stunning. This is the trick every stylist I know wishes every single woman understood before she turned 60, because it is the one piece of advice on this entire list that has absolutely nothing to do with hiding anything at all. It is not camouflage, it is not a workaround, it is not a solution to a problem, because there was never actually a problem to solve. It is simply about making sure that the parts of you which were already beautiful, which have always been beautiful, finally get the chance to catch the light the way they deserve to. Try this one if you are finally ready to wear that dress with absolutely nothing layered over it at all. No shawl, no jacket, no cardigan pulled over your shoulders out of habit. Just you, your skin, and the dress, fully, radiantly, unapologetically visible. Now, one more thing before we close out today, and I promise you this one costs absolutely nothing. How you walk into that room matters more than all 5 of the tricks we just covered combined. Shoulders back, chin level with the floor, not tilted down, not tilted up defensively, just level, calm, certain. And underneath all of that posture, the quiet, unshakable certainty that you belong exactly where you are standing in exactly the dress you chose to wear. That energy cannot be bought, layered on, or draped over your shoulders. It has to be decided. Here's something I need you to sit with for a moment, because I think about it constantly. Nobody in that room is studying your arms the way you are studying your own arms right now in your own bathroom mirror before you've even left the house. They are far too busy quietly worrying about their own stomach, their own arms, their own version of the exact same insecurity you're carrying. We are all fighting some version of that same private, internal battle, every single one of us, in every single room we ever walk into. And the women who walk out of that room remembered as the most stunning person there are almost never the ones with what anyone would call flawless proportions. They are, without exception, the ones who made a decision somewhere between their front door and the entrance to that room that they had already arrived, that they belonged, that the dress was theirs to wear exactly as they wanted to wear it, arms and all. At 60 and beyond, you have access to a kind of confidence that no 25-year-old on this earth has earned yet, because it simply cannot be earned any faster than time allows. You have lived. You have survived things that would have genuinely broken lesser women. You have loved deeply, lost people you weren't ready to lose, rebuilt yourself quietly more than once, and arrived here, right now, watching this video, still standing, still stunning, and still absolutely, completely dressed for the moment. That is the most radiant thing any woman can wear into a room, and it happens to go perfectly with every single sleeveless dress hanging in your closet right now. So now I genuinely want to hear from you. Out of these 5 tricks, the structured strap, the jewel tone advantage, the draped shawl, the cropped jacket, or the radiant skin ritual, which one are you trying first? Drop the number in the comments right now while it's fresh in your mind, because I read every single comment personally and it genuinely shapes what I bring you in next week's video. And if this video gave you even one new way to look at that dress that's been hanging quietly in the back of your closet, do 2 things for me before you go. Give this video a like because it helps more Black women over 60 find their way to this channel and this community, and share it with a fellow queen in your life who needs to hear this today. A sister, a friend, someone who's been putting that same dress back on the hanger for far too long. And if you haven't subscribed to Golden Melanin Queen yet, this is your sign. This is the moment. Hit subscribe, tap that notification bell, and join a growing community of Black women over 60 who are absolutely done dimming their light for anyone. Because a Golden Melanin Queen doesn't cover her shine. She wears it, unapologetically, in every room she walks into. I'll see you in the next one.